What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Ink and Insights, our weekly comic book highlight review show where we talk about all the books we loved and some of the books that you may have missed. I'm 9-panel grid here, Eric, and joined as always by my co-host here, the wonderful, the stupendous Stu from Dr. Doom's fan club. Stu, how you doing, man?
Doing well, brother. Always happy to be here with you. Yeah, it's been a good day. Got some yard work done. Just settling in to reading a couple new books, and of course trying to make sure I was all read up on everything we're covering tonight. But yeah, so happy to be here, man. How's your week been?
Nice. So far, so good. No real big complaints. It's been pretty easy breezy, right? Getting ready for the show, getting my books read as well, getting my flow on here. I did pick up a couple things though, real quick. If we wanted to maybe we haven't done it recently, right? How do you feel about a little collection selection to kick things off?
Glutton for punishment, man. It's Happy Heroes Month, by the way. So we're gonna start off Heroes Month with collection selection. That's what I'm talking about.
Here's how I use my Heroes money that didn't get spent at Heroes, but I think I did some good stuff here. Yes. Kicking things off, I got the 1 in 25 ratio variant for Absolute Wonder Woman. I got it for Soups, but I didn't get it for Batman right out the jump. So it's our boy Ian Bertram.
Gotta get it.
I had to like right the wrong that didn't happen the Wednesday that this came out, so I picked this up here. This is dope. Y'all already knew this was dope here, but even
yeah, dude,
maybe more dope, maybe equally dope. I'll say that much, right? To preface this, I got to show this off, right? Son of Origins, the Fireside, huge book here. If we want to talk about the book, the thing that got me into comics, this has to be it. This is the thing that I rented from the library over and over and over. I wore that puppy out. I loved it. And it wasn't even the OG, right? This was the secondary one here. This is talking about the origin of my boy Daredevil, Iron Man.
I'm unfamiliar. What is this?
Oh, you don't know about these?
No, right, I do not.
So there was a series of 3 soft cover graphic novels, I guess, if you will, that were just reprints of all of the old stories, the old origin stories of some of the main characters within the Marvel universe, right? So we have Iron Man, we have Daredevil, and these are like reprintings of like 2-3 issues of all of the things, all of the origins that occur. So like we got the Avengers here with Loki's introduction. Yeah. So they had 3 of them. They had Son of Origins. They had Bring On the Bad Guys, which actually would be right up your alley because one of the premier villains that they showcase is Dr. Doom.
Re-release of that here in a couple.
I think they have an event that's coming up here that like they're using that name.
Okay.
But they're repurposing it. But the books, like, go find the books. They're like really beautiful, really great. But I hit up Half Price Books the other day. I go every couple of weeks just to ponder, just look around, see what they got here. And I came across the very first one here, Origins of Marvel Comics, the same old school one. This thing is like, I mean, it's beat to hell. It's worn down. It's yellowed with age. And it's exactly how I would want to have it. I don't want a pristine copy of this. I want the same copy. I want something that looks like the same copy I, rented growing up. Or if I were to keep that copy in my collection, this is probably how it would look after 40 years of appreciation. But I saw this, the price was like stupid low, totally still readable, still enjoyable. So I had to pick this up here. Awesome. So I got 2 out of the 3 of the books that created my comic fandom from my childhood here. So
wow, that's major, man.
Yeah, Heroes. I'm on the lookout for the 3rd one. I'm gonna complete the trifecta for sure. But I was really, really stoked to pick those up.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, I was happy with that for sure. But to move,
was this at your regular shop or was this like a new shop experience?
No. So this is. Are you familiar with Half Price Books?
No, not really.
It's a regional thing. Like, have you heard of an Ollie's?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so it's like the equivalency of an Ollie's, right? So it's like people could trade in book, or I think it is at least. So people trade in books. You could buy books. It's a used book outlet store basically.
Oh, gotcha.
But their comic selection is.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like there's always the hidden gems there when it comes to books or figgies.
Oh,
like there's, great things slip through the cracks, man. You never know
Yeah,
what you're gonna find.
I found so many cool things. In fact, one of the last things I saw was a book called Infinite Kung Fu, and I kick myself now for not getting it. It was this total like kung fu, like a love letter to kung fu stories, written and drawn by Kagan McLeod. He's the guy that did the title cards for the She-Hulk show. Whether you liked that show or not, the title cards were totally sick. I love the artwork on those. And he did the artwork on the series Kaptara that was written by Chip Zdarsky. So really cool stuff. And I'm like, I'm so ticked off at myself because like I could get it easily, but it's kind of a
Yeah,
different experience when you buy it in person and you just like find a, you know,
for
a
sure.
gem out in the wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing like that discovery and those endorphins, man. Nothing beats it.
Exactly. Yeah. We got a couple people hanging with us here already, starting with Edson. Station to you as well, my friend. Nice seeing you. We got him giving you some love to the Wu-Tang.
Oh yeah, bro.
Wu-Tang is for the children, so definitely love it.
Wu-Tang is forever.
Yes. We got Pedro hanging with us. Did you guys read Resurrection Man 3? Did 3 drop today? I think it got delayed. If it's the same, yeah, issue 3 got delayed from what I saw. So my shop didn't have a copy. In fact, I was talking to Nick in the back chats, and he said his shop experienced the same thing. Did you happen to hit up your shop today?
I have not. No, I have not got there, and I have not read it. I thought it was out there though in some kind of way though, right? Is it one of those cases where?
Dude, it was like a shadow like delay kind of thing. Like League of
Okay.
Comic Geeks had it available. In fact, I was looking at it this morning in preparation to go to my shop, and I'm like, all right, it's there. I'm gonna read it. I'm stoked for it. And I got to the shop and it wasn't there. And I'm driving away and I'm looking at my phone going, oh, I wonder if League, you know, what League says again. And then they switched it. They moved it to next week. So
Okay.
so when it's that quick, it might have been released on digital, somewhere out there on Kindle, something like that. So yeah, keep your eyes open if you did get it.
Sure.
Yeah, there we go. Pedro saying I couldn't wait for it. Yeah, I don't blame you, dude. If it's out there on the Kindle, I'll double dip because Resurrection Man is
I'm not mad at you, bro. Yeah.
yeah, it's a special book, man. I can't be mad at that at all.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to kick off our first topic of the night?
Let's do it, brother.
All right.
What are we
Yeah,
talking about?
We're gonna start things off with Marvel
yeah.
Superheroes.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I played the ever loving out of this game as a kid, man. I wore this puppy out on the OG PlayStation. Oh man, this brings such nostalgia back for me as an appreciator of comics, as an appreciator of fine video games that Capcom puts out here. But we're not necessarily talking about the video games. We're talking about these figgies.
Dude, this
Dude,
looks like straight out of the game too. Look at that. That's beautiful.
like talk to me about these because you had the idea to showcase these particular figures
Well,
here.
yeah, this is what I think they're doing this for the anniversary wave, correct? And I think this is just a great thing to spotlight and a great thing to, yeah, champion and celebrate for an anniversary wave. But dude, they're incredible. I think they make like some of the, I don't want to say mundane characters, but an action figure form, a character like Captain America doesn't necessarily bring a whole lot to the table, but here he looks ferocious. They have some great I don't know what they call these like little effects they give them nowadays, but I wish they had these when I was a kid. These
Dude, right?
these comic book motion swipes and impacts, like the thunderclap with the Hulk that they have, like is super crazy and some of this stuff. But it's so cool, like seeing here like Blue Venom, like it's all just yeah, like you said, the stuff I grew up with and love, man. And yeah, it takes me back to the arcade. So yeah, I think it's so well done. I thought, they picked some really good characters, some deep cuts to highlight too. But for me, my favorite was Juggernaut. How about you?
Dude, I mean, it's hard. Okay. I'm a
Dude, look at
Wolverine.
Juggernaut is fucking perfect. I mean, I got
it. It is, though.
I think I'm gonna cop one. I might cop Juggernaut and Cat, but I gotta get Juggernaut. Like Juggernaut just looks amazing.
Like I'm a Wolverine figure fan. Like every single Wolverine release, regardless of how close it is to the last one that came out, I'm kind of the guy sitting there going, do I want to pull the trigger on this though? Like, I mean, you can't have too many of those Wolverine figures in your life.
Yeah, this one looks great too.
But if I'm honest with myself, my absolute favorite figure growing up was a Juggernaut figure. There was like these light up actions that you had on certain figures, and he had the Crystal of Sidorak as like this huge mace. And that figure was just immense. It was massive, and the helmet was huge, and it just looked so menacing. And this one gives me all the vibes of that same toy with way better articulation and way better posability and stuff. So, dude, like I have to agree with you. Juggernaut's kind of it. It's kind of like the sickest one. But like if we go back to the top here, what we got? Silver Samurai. We
Wolvie
got
looks great though, and like
the slashing effects.
Yeah, and like the pronounced little like head fins or whatever on him. Like I love that. You know, yeah, he looks fantastic.
Yeah, definitely goes with that Capcom styling. And then you can say the same thing with Thanos too. He's got the pointy bits on his head that go maybe a little bit higher than they would generally speaking from the comic books, and that blue paint on Venom. We don't talk about figures that much here, but man, I gotta say these sparked something in a big bad way here. I gotta ask you though. So I talked about Juggernaut. What was your favorite figure growing up, and maybe what was your first one that you remember like specifically seeking out and purchasing yourself?
Oh man, that's a good question. So I remember like getting back. I guess just I'll kind of answer that in a more recent sense. I remember getting back and wanting to get some of the Alex Ross Kingdom Come figures and like the busts that he did for the Earth X and stuff like that. That was high on my list when I kind of got back into comics. Man, as a kid, there was so many. I remember honestly, like my He-Man action figure being a huge one for me growing up. I think when it comes to Marvel or comic books in general, man, it would have to be Wolverine as well. I'm trying to think which one. There were so many iterations, I think, at one point, dude. I found like one of my old like secret agent ones where he's in scuba gear when my mom was cleaning out the house not too long ago.
Was it the gold stuff, like the space armor one?
It was, yeah, I want to say it was like black and gold or something like that.
Okay. I remember that there was a gold one. It was the space gear when they went up to Asteroid M right before he got the adamantium ripped out of him. I had that one for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so many great ones, but I don't know, man. It's hard for me to pick one above the rest. How about you?
Oh, dude. So I had like the He-Man toys, and I had GI Joes and Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles, and I beat the hell out of those toys. Like, I mean, I used those things, man. They were buried in the sand. They were like, I would make makeshift parachutes that I'd throw them up in the air. They'd get caught up in trees for decades. But I had one of the old school Iron Man toys that had, it was basically the armor that you could snap into place, right? So you could take all the armor off of it and then put it back on here, like the weakest of weak little snapping mechanisms that you could imagine on one of these toys. But I bought it with my own money. I sought it out in the mall when malls were still a thing and bought it. And that thing, like, you didn't touch that toy. Your friends came over, stay the hell away from my Iron Man, because that thing, you don't play with that. That's not that's an art piece. That's pristine, and you don't mess with it. That thing I still kind of consider, like, do I want to go back and find one of those on card? Would I spend stupid money for something like that? And the answer is maybe.
Yeah,
It's a
there's
strong
something
possibility.
definitely. I've done it. We had man, right here. So these little like Batman things growing up, you can hang.
Oh,
these,
yeah.
You can hang these from, and we used to hang, and Dad used to hang them from the lamps, right? And so like I went and found like they're from like 1989. I think Kenner made them, but you can find like Robin and Joker. I got a couple of them over there somewhere, but yeah.
Heck yeah, dude, that's sick.
There's something therapeutic about that, bridging that gap as a kid.
Yeah, well, don't I know it? Because I had shared this. So the Paper and Plastic show, I was a guest with them a couple weeks back, right? And we were talking about figgies. And I told them I was like really, really looking to maybe possibly buy one, but like I couldn't justify it. It just didn't make sense. But then it kind of made sense. So like I had to,
that thing is sick.
I had to go pick up. Oh, come on, focus now. There we go.
There
I
he
had to
goes.
pick up the Mafex Daredevil. Dude, this thing is so amazing.
He looks great, dude. He
Oh,
looks. I
yeah.
love the red on that.
It
Perfect.
pops so
It
hard, man.
does.
And it's like it
It's
comes
like
with
dark, but it pops at the same time.
yeah, it comes with like the posability is so great. Like you could recreate so many different covers and all the different cool things that you could imagine doing with the figure here. Like you could make
Hell
a
yeah.
total born again recreation, and I probably will. It's bound to happen, but I was super stoked to see that.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely need that born again recreation, man. Come on, we got Matt Murdock Monday once a week. You know what I mean? No excuses.
Dude, I've been so bad on posting on IG. Like
Yeah.
I got to circle back around and start doing that.
Same.
Yeah,
I
but
need to get more disciplined. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Let's see here. What's Edson saying for us here? I had X-Men, Wolverine X-Men 97, and don't see that he looks that different in the version that we're getting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like most Wolverines are like very subtle variations of each other, but the fins, I think it's really just a new head sculpt, and that head sculpt looks very, very Capcom inspired. But they all look really cool. Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%. It makes you really consider. It's like, am I gonna allocate some of this comic money towards toys? Maybe. We'll see. It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that Juggernaut's getting this money, and some of those head sculpts, like you said, man, he looks so great. So
yeah. Oh, so you've made the determination. It's happening.
I think the Juggernaut's got to happen. Yeah, like you said, I also had a Juggernaut figure when I was a kid, and there was just something. He was just a great bad guy to throw up against, your good guys, because he's the Juggernaut, and especially as with the action figure, he's kind of imposing. So it always worked. This would be dope. I need the one with the red Liefeld eyes though from that X-Force Spider-Man crossover.
Dude, you know the real reason I like Juggernaut so much though? Like if I'm being completely honest, my friend had the Sentinel, like the OG Sentinel that came out from that Toy Biz X-Men line. And the chest opened up, and you could, when a Sentinel captured one of your guys, you plop them in there and you close the chest. The Juggernaut didn't fit. So I'm like, come at me, bro. Really? Come on, Sentinel. You can't do anything. I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Force of nature, man.
Exactly. All right, man. You had done something a little bit special for us last week. You had proposed to us that we maybe study abroad, that maybe we become a more worldly bunch of individuals here, man. Tell us about summer vacation.
Absolutely, dude. Summer vacation where we, went to the Isle of Italy and the rich, beautiful, warm, fertile land of abundance, and talked about Diabolique, man. So summer vacation, we're going to beautiful spots all over the world. You are taking the reins this week, so where are we headed, bro?
Dude, I'll be honest. I'm a cheap bastard, right? So I just kind of went on Travelocity, and I was just like, just buy me a ticket. Take me somewhere outside of the US. You determine where we're going to go. You kind of set the expectations here. So I figured, what better place to go than Russia?
Wow, really? So you go have fun in the gulag. I'm gonna stay in Rome and order another bottle of wine. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I get my passport stamped again next week. Maybe we can meet up somewhere else.
So basically, your opinion of me right now is if he dies, he dies.
Just a wild pivot, man. I thought we were going to Greece or something, but that's all right.
It is a wild pivot, but it's not always about the fun, right? It's not always about the decadence and the, whatever, the brightness of a certain place here. It's not all about the fine wines of Italy. Sometimes it's about communism. Let's talk about Octobriana, man. Octobriana and the Russian underground. So this is a Russian comic. I have to read this because I'm going to butcher the name here. Created by Peter Zadetsky. And it was really a comic book with the understanding and the motivation created solely for the purposes of communism and communism's ideals, right? With that being said, this is a hero that fought for those ideals, fought for those, characteristics, but also the creator also kind of put forth those ideas in the creation itself, meaning that this was never a product that he had full ownership of, and that was rightfully so. He didn't want to own the product, own the character, or anything like that, which means that there is a litany of versions of the character of Octobriana because it was fair use. It wasn't like a licensing kind of deal. Anyone can use this and make whatever kind of stories they wanted to, again, because it was created with those purposes. So we've gotten stories about Octobriana from a litany of creators here, starting from its creation, the creator Peter Sadesky, but also going all the way through to most recently Jim Rugg creating his own interpretation of the character as well, with his beautiful blacklight version of the comic book that he put out here. We had a magazine newsprint style one that was all black and white. We had a retro colored style one, and then we had a blacklight style one in all of the Jim Rugg stylings that you would expect and love. And we have even more coming out here. I mean, in the very near future, in fact, we have some new Octobriana storylines that are going to be kicking off here. So it's pretty interesting. It's kind of a cool lineage for this character to see that it's still part of the zeitgeist, right? It's still part of pop culture and being created or iterated on from creators right here and right now. When things kicked off here, let me see here, back in 1957, it looks like. That's quite the heritage, quite the lineage for this character. So while Russia isn't maybe the nicest place to spend time, arguably, depending on your viewpoints, I think that this comic book and this creator maybe deserve a little bit of a spotlight here. Now, if things go dark and I disappear here,
Man.
It's been a wonderful time with Ink and Insights with you. I can say that.
That's super dope. Like, that's super dope. To see, him kind of, let it be its own thing and get adapted all sorts of different ways. I'd like to see, different, the actual pages in different iterations of this character. And I don't have the Rugg book. Have you ever read it? I've never read it.
Oh, you don't have it?
No.
You know where we're going to be in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
So you will have it, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's just a matter of time. But yeah, I do have it. It's awesome. You should definitely check it out. It's just wild fun, man. My personal recommendation: get the 3 versions. They are same story, same artwork, vastly different, just due to the coloring itself. So it's really, really cool that way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get the heck out of Russia before they find out that we're talking about them here. Jump into our first comic book here, Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell #2, written by Charles Soule with artwork by Steve McNiven. Whew. You already know, dude, I'm a Daredevil fan, man, and this is just this is piquing all of the feelings I have towards Daredevil. I loved issue 1. I think issue 2 was even better, though. I really, really do. Matt's got his powers back. He's a man on a mission. He's investigating the nature of why these bombs are going off. And really, I feel like the heart of it is that he's trying to do right by Steve Rogers, the man who basically gave his life to save as many people as he could in the subway. And Matt knows he needs to, do something to honor the legacy that character had, and also be the superhero that he can be, knowing that he has his powers back. So we got things kicking off where he's investigating. Meanwhile, in the background, we get to spend a little bit more time with Bullseye, and we get to see kind of his machinations and what he's got going on. And he's got his goons going after, or kind of like looking after, a certain subset of, bystanders, right? Just like regular Joe Schmoes in New York City here. All the while, one of these people that they're starting to look into and investigate here kind of, lights up like a Christmas light and starts floating around. And they're like, aha, that's the one we're looking for right there. The onset of this issue, and I guess like kind of your feelings towards where things are pivoting from the end of issue 1, man. How are you feeling about this?
It's been incredible, man. McNiven's art has been just stand out. But this the story gets deeper with Bullseye and his machinations and manipulations. I just love the attention that he gives every single line in the story. You can tell it's been a labor of love for years. You can feel that behind the artwork. So yeah, I heard you guys talking about it on the monthly show. I know it was like the first one you brought up, and I
Oh yeah.
I have to concur with kind of Robbie's gripe though that it's only 3 issues. I could really use a lot more of this story in this world. I hope it, um, you know, I think along with books like Avengers Twilight, man, there's just, um, I don't know. I hope Marvel pushes more books in this direction, um, because I don't think this is a death knell. I disagree with Scott Snyder when he says if we don't stick to continuity storytelling, that the industry is dead. I don't know if that is true necessarily. So I think we can have a lot of. Didn't he say that just recently?
No. I know exactly what you're referring to. It's like I'm pondering that idea though, because as you know, there's individuals among us that have strong opinions about continuity, myself included. Right? I think that there's avenues. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I think you can serve both, and yeah, but I just don't think we need to be so beholden to it these days. Especially when you have amazing stories in the can like this, and I think this is Daredevil's Dark Knight Returns, and when you look at a book like Dark Knight Returns and how it got to us, it kind of was its own thing, its own miniseries. They found a way to kind of like work it into the monthly title at the same time, but like a lot like Year One, I think these books should stand on their own, and so it's cool to see them letting somebody cook for years and finally give us this product. So it's been so badass. I love everything about this world they put together. This one especially, I don't want to ruin it and get too far ahead of ourselves, but yeah. And I just want to say, dude, I love the costume. So great.
It's kind of sick, right?
It's like Frankensteinian, you know what I mean? It's just, yeah, I love it. It's perfect for the story, and it totally fits. And I love his like languid, bony, physical makeup in this. You know what I mean? He seems like he's totally operating on last fumes. Like he's barely put it together. It's just like there's just something about the way McNiven's rendered his physique in this one that's incredible. So
Yeah.
I love his look all the way through.
See, and I see we got a couple more people hanging with us here, but I happen to see Simpleton here, who is, bookmaker extraordinaire. But now I also feel like maybe he's a paralegal, right? Because I think these are leading questions. Absolutely, Simpleton. Leading the
I
witness
still
here.
want more. You can't indict me for wanting more, though, man. Come on. Especially like, how many years did he spend on this? Is the question.
Multiple, we can say that much. But also, how many ads did it happen to have?
I don't know. Word.
Big old goose
Shout
egg.
out to Marvel.
So while it's only 3 issues here, it is. I mean, it's going to equate because I think it's like they're like extra size, but not double size. I think it's like 30 some odd pages for each issue. It's going to equate out to what would be a 5-issue series if they were normal size. Not making excuses. Give me Daredevil all day, especially if it's a good Daredevil. But I feel like they're telling the pacing feels right so far, and and we could talk about that as we go on here too, because the second half of the issue, Daredevil is, finding the goons. He's investigating more, and he knows that they're looking at this girl and have now captured her. So he starts trying his best to, dole out the blind justice that he does so well. But he's an old man now, right? His bones are a little bit more creaky than they were previously. So he's having a little bit of difficulty. And who is there to help him out? None other than Elektra Nachios here, who is looking strikingly not old, though, and strikingly Miller-esque. Everything has been very Miller-esque, but there's something so freaking Miller about McNiven's portrayal of Elektra that just like, I mean, I think I can't remember who it was on the monthly comic show that said it, but they had to flip back to the credit page, right, and be like,
yeah,
is this Steve McNiven? Like, it's that kind of experience. It's the wardrobe, it's the posing, it's the split in the toes for that samurai toe, garb. It's the hair of the character. Dude, it looks so freaking gorgeous. It looks like a beautiful piece of artwork. How they're doing this, man. what did you think of the second half of this issue? And like, what did you what did you think of Electra?
It's fucking brilliant, dude. And I love like
Mhm.
her introduction here when he was getting his ass whooped, you know, and what did she do? Like threw the throwing stars into the like the dude at first. But yeah, man, this page was glorious. I just what up, Rooster? Yeah, I just stared at it for for a good few couple minutes. I just love the way she's precariously balanced on the barbed wire. It's just beautiful. Yeah, the hair, you know, the like the facial, like the close-ups of her face we got, every little bit of that like line work, it just it was incredible to see. So it's been like so uniquely, you know, his own thing, but also, you know, heavily influenced by Miller, I think, thematically. But this was just great to see such a you know, such a nod to the god, to Uncle Frank. So
Mhm.
it was beautiful, man. It was, and like you said, just to, you know, see the little details done right. Um, I don't know. That's what you live for. So
Yeah.
it was fantastic. But that, I think that page right there is one of the best we've gotten this year. Period. I think that's what it's all about. It's an homage to the greatness that has come before us, but also something so cool and so new and fantastic. So yeah,
Well, what I really liked about this as well is that it's very clearly a love letter to Frank Miller and everything he did for the character, because rightfully so, in the pantheon of creators for Daredevil that have worked on Daredevil, it's kind of weird to say that the original creators don't get the spotlight, but if they don't, I mean, Frank Miller is the person who made Daredevil Daredevil, and I'll die on that hill and I'll scream it from the mountaintops. It's so beautiful to see, you know, them kind of give the homage that they do. But
no, it is that run isn't. That was one thing when I went back and kind of really did my research. Just the amount of you know, Matt Murdock and his world that he built within the space of what is it, like 10 issues, man, with the hand stick, bringing Kingpin into the picture,
mhm.
Elektra. I mean, it is absolutely incredible how much he's able to put together once he really gets rolling. And it's beautiful too because he's doing these things as he's really first finding himself at, you know, finding his voice as a creator. It's just one
Dude
of
was in
those
his
like,
early 20s.
yeah, it's amazing, man.
I was
And
not
then
doing that in my
Klaus,
early 20s.
yeah, and then it's just one of those, you know, that harmony between him and Klaus and Denny O'Neil. I mean, because you don't get that very often. It was very special. So
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. The other thing I wanted to spotlight is like it's a great homage to Frank Miller, but it's also at the end of this a great love letter to Marvel, the Marvel universe in general, because the biggest distinction I've always had between the Marvel universe and the DC universe is that DC is the place where you go for magic, right? Where you go for the unexplainable, right? We have, you know, the man who comes from the stars with Superman. We have the goddess amongst men with the, you know, the Amazonian that is Wonder Woman. It's like it's the unexplainable. Everything is kind of magical with how people have these powers. Where Marvel is all science based. How'd you get your powers? Radiation. I mean, it
yep,
was radiation ruled the nation, right? That was the way that it was at the time that these characters were created. Radioactive spiders being doused with radioactive material in the eyes that blind you but heighten your senses. And what is happening in this issue? What is the grand machinations? Bullseye's trying to repower the greater populace, who we find out has been depowered here. So like the most of these superpowered individuals here, the powers are gone now. They've come down. So it's kind of cool. He's like he wants the good old days back. So I really like that that's the onus on this is basically they're all old men now. He wants to relive his glory days. That's a really cool that's a really cool portrayal, man. I think that that's what's making this a little bit more unique for me than other old man type stories, because it's not, sometimes you get like the you know, like the Western kind of feeling for a story. You got that a lot with Old Man Logan. It was just a man going out to do his one final mission to make this one last thing right. And this doesn't feel like that necessarily. It feels a little bit different. Same thing with Dark Knight Returns. You know, it was do I hang up the cowl or do I put the cowl back on after I've given it up? You know, this
Yeah.
feels like a different version of that. It feels unique, and I really really like that about it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, before we dive into our little things here, let's say hello to a couple people that have joined us here, starting with James Phelps here.
Hey,
James, dude, always love
what,
seeing
bro?
you, man. Thanks for joining
Yeah,
us.
man. Hope you're
By the
doing
way,
well.
by the way, chat, I had shown off a couple things here for my childhood, man. Leave us a comment in the chat, man. What thing got you into collecting comics? If you remember that single issue, let us know, man.
Also, favorite candy bar, guys. If you didn't vote last week, let us know. Favorite candy bar. Get those votes in.
I swear to God, if any of you say nutrageous, get out of here. But stay, but stay for real. All right. Well, we had Rooster Blue and Simpleton joining with us. Also, Simpleton saying he's just kidding. He wishes it was longer too.
It's all right, bro. I appreciate.
That's what she said. I don't.
Oh boy, I got nothing to follow that up.
We got Rooster Blue saying, got all these clean line details with the similar line weight and the shape language had the feeling like a Miller Darrow mashup. Good,
Ooh,
dude. Great call. Great call on that.
Love that. Absolutely.
Yeah. We got Omega hanging with us. Omega.
Thanks, bro.
Always nice seeing you, bud.
Absolutely.
Derek Neiman, man about town, man. Great seeing you, man.
What up, bro?
It looks exactly like Frank Miller. Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
It's like he's doing it right. If you haven't checked out Steve McNiven's IG, he's posting all of the original artwork on this, and it's just like it's killing me, honestly. It's making me hurt inside. I'm looking into plasma donations. I'm looking into whatever I can do, but I don't know if it's likely that they'll be
it needs a house, right?
Not me. Build a paper house out of these pages, man.
Exactly. You can hang that piece of original art up every night, man. As long as you have that with you, you'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep you warm.
Just no.
Jeez.
No.
Don't do it. That's how you're gonna show up tonight? Come on.
It's like I feel like we thought. Yeah. We spoke about this. You know better.
Yeah.
We got Edson here. First comment here talking about what comic got him into collecting X-Men #1. Was my entry into comics as a kid, then Long Halloween as my return as an adult. Dude, all right. Edson's
Sale
coming
forever,
out
bro.
swinging. Yeah.
Love Tim Sale so much.
Let's see here. We got Omega saying, I got sucked into collecting World Tree variants before I even read comics, and now we're here. Hey.
However you get here.
Yeah, exactly.
We all got our journey, you know what I mean?
Omega, I have a feeling for your taste, man. What was the last comic that you read that really blew your hair back, man? Let us know. We got Rooster Blue saying, my way into comics was the newsstands at the grocery stand. Oh, yes. Then COVID had me making one and discovering my new comics from YouTube and kayfabe and such, dude. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I think kayfabe, if you weren't into comics, man, oh God, the number of people that probably got drawn back into it during COVID, specifically from that channel, is probably astronomical.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I'm definitely one of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was pre-COVID for me, but I had just moved to a new town, and I I went to a comic store under the guise of taking my kid. I was like, hey, I liked these as a kid. Maybe I'll introduce them to my child. And I definitely walked out with a stack of new books, and he did too, but I did too. So
mission accomplished.
Oh, dude, I remember back then convincing my wife. I was like, I think I'm just gonna get what we would consider the keys that I owned as a child.
During COVID, it was out of control. It was because like once that I jump started my appetite again, I was devouring shit. Like it was crazy, man. I was ordering trades all the time off Amazon.
It's a dangerous game, dude, especially at that time. Yeah, I think we were all a little bit buck nutty.
I miss those days when I had nothing to do but just stay at home and read.
Yeah, this sucker here was stuck working beautiful. Still. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that sucks. Sorry.
Yeah, what a loser. We got Paul Emerson saying good morning from Team Bangkok. Hey, good morning, dude.
What up?
Hey,
man. Thanks for joining us.
If you missed our summer vacation segment, man, tell us what comics are Bangkok putting out, man. Give us the stuff. Give us the insight so we know when we happen to visit, what should we be looking out for? You got Simpleton saying X-Men animated and Batman animated. Dude, yes. I think that's what kept the fire lit for me. I had floppies, I had comics, and then those came out, and I was like, oh my God, this is a thing. This is like a real life thing. Like, and this is going to be with me forever and ever.
Yeah, Batman animated is like still a part of my day-to-day life. And I
Oh
think it
yeah.
always will be. I throw on episodes when I'm doing dishes, like it's just comfort food for me. And you know, I need to put it, I need to have it in my life every now and then to, you know, just to maintain sanity. You know what I mean? That's
Oh
a
yeah.
really that's an important, like, I don't know. And I love showing it to the kids. It still plays, man. Kids still love it. So
Oh, dude, yeah. I remember I was so excited for X-Men 97. Same thing. I was just like, the kid's gonna watch this with me. And like, and I'm enjoying it. He's enjoying it too, but I'm enjoying it way more. So much to the point where there's certain episodes where he's looking over me and he's like, Dad, are you crying over there? I'm like, no, Gambit's gonna be fine. Shut up. Ah,
uh,
yeah.
Gambit made you cry though, bro.
Are you
Gambit
saying
getting wiped
Gambit
up.
didn't make you
No, I
cry?
did not cry when Gambit died. No, I did not cry when Gambit died.
What's
I'm
it like
sorry.
not having a partner?
I'm a
Is it
sociopath. Yep, I'm a sociopath. Let's just go ahead and establish that
wow?
now. I
All
did
right.
not
Well, let's
cry.
talk to someone
Yep.
that's not a sociopath here.
I
Yeah,
remember
Omega
we
Slice.
talked about this before, and Cliff was like,
Omega Slice is
I'm
saying,
worried about Stu."
yeah, you're right. Yeah, we did talk about this before. Yeah, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. We got Omega Slice saying, "Oh yeah," and got hooked onto kayfabe immediately when I started reading and collecting. It was a great resource. It was a great form of entertainment. It was just a darn good time here. And of course, comic culture here. Read more comics. Always, always, always read more
Oh
comics.
yeah.
Yes. All right, let's jump into our little things of the episode here. I'm going to kick things off with my little thing, which was like these subtle little lines in Bullseye's head, and I didn't quite understand what it was upon first reading it, and now I started to pick up on what was happening here, specifically in this small panel here, which they were like acupuncture needles or just little thin, sharp, pointy things that he can just pluck out of his head and flick at people to inflict as much damage as Bullseye possibly can. I loved that, man. This is again, it kind of harkens back to the maniacal nature of everything that is Bullseye and how he doles out his brand of violence, which is ultra violence, if you will. So I loved the portrayal of this in this issue and how they really,
Yeah. He was
it's all show don't tell.
not quite accurate too. Like I love that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, he's old.
Yeah.
He's working on it.
Sure.
Yeah,
It gave me Colin Farrell paperclip vibes.
big time. I didn't want to, I didn't want to jinx us and bring up the Ben Affleck Daredevil. We're having such a
Why
good
not? You don't want
time.
to bring out the best incarnation of Bullseye that we've ever gotten?
Oh my gosh, the power that I wield having this.
Oh.
I gotta say, there was a time in my life I remember seeing that in the theaters and immediately going back to the comic store and being like, that was
Yeah,
the best comic movie ever. Screw Spider-Man. Sam Raimi doesn't know what he's doing. This was the best. And I'll admit it. I was wrong. I was an idiot.
it's okay. My wife
Yeah.
just asked me if I was okay from the other room. I was making those Bullseye noises.
The answer is no, you're not okay because you didn't cry
No, you're right.
over Gambit
Oh,
dying.
you're right. Yep.
Yeah. So you're definitely not. But talk to us about your little thing here and maybe why it might be okay.
Dude, so went back and read a little bit of 168 when Miller first introduced Elektra. And one of the first things he talked about when we get that flashback and him meeting her on the campus, I believe. One of the first things he talks about is her smell, the smell of her expensive French perfume. It's just always been such a core, I guess, sense for Matt, to recognize and tie memory together when it comes to Elektra, of course, in general, because that's who he is. But especially with Elektra, I love how smell always comes into play because, man, a woman's sin is just that, right? And I just love how it's described here: evergreen and blood in the air before a storm. We've heard it, I think, described so many different ways. I was trying to find a couple more examples before the show, but I was unable to. But I just love that, we got that little bit of descriptive detail, from Sule. I thought it was excellent writing, and it's just so vivid. So I just always love that connection between Matt and Electra, and how Sule displayed it here.
Yeah, exactly. And for those fine appreciators of thunderstorms here, the air before a storm,
Man,
if you know it, you know it.
the
So
smell, right? Ah,
yeah,
so good.
yeah. So great call on that one. Let us go ahead and dive into our second issue of the week here, which is going to be the goddamn tragedy #1, one shot actually. So we ain't going to get an issue #2, but the goddamn tragedy was written by Chris Condon with artwork by Sean Kuranuru. I almost got that right, Sean Kuranuru, but I got a second chance at the name here because he also did colors. Colorist Sean Kuranuru with letters by Sean Lee. I had a heck of a time with this issue, man. I had a lot of fun with what was going on here. I didn't necessarily
Yeah,
know
this
what
was
to
awesome.
expect. I think, yeah, I feel like the elevator pitch on this was kind of like the Donner Party meets the Gold Rush era, and it's kind of that. Like, I mean, I shouldn't say it's kind of that. It's definitely that, but I feel like there's more layers to it than just that. It is a story about a family that's fallen on hard times in the Gold Rush era. It's a story about putting your trust in the wrong people. It's a story about struggling with pride and hubris. There's a lot of different things that it's about here. It's also the story of sometimes what could be an unreliable narrator, or letting a person narrate your own story and they're unreliable. I really dug this, man. So it's the story. So it's kind of the framing device is that the daughter character of this family, this ill-fated family who goes on this expedition out west to kind of like get in on the gold rush. A story is written about her family who kind of takes the wrong path and makes the wrong decisions and falls on some unsavory activities. A writer kind of tells the story without any kind of consent from the family or kind of understanding what had truly happened. So she comes to him as an adult and says, "Hey, I read your book. You got 10% right. Let me tell you what really happened." How did you feel about how, I guess, the approach of the story and how it's being unveiled and told by the writer?
I liked it. It got down to brass tacks fairly quickly. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
set it up as like a recollection story, as it were. But yeah, I like the back and forth between her and the journalist, and yeah, definitely interested to see what she had to say. And I loved the way they started building the family dynamic. This guy's kind of susceptibility to kind of getting conned or persuade persuaded to make bad decisions, we'll say.
Yeah.
I thought it was fantastic, man. And you like I, the thing I love about Condon stories, like whether it's this or Enfield Gang Massacre, what I just love how his knack for history, especially old American history, and people manifest destiny and people making their way through these treacherous passes, to try to carve out a life for themselves out in the West has always intrigued me. So, I love that he kind of chose this as a horrific example of this,
Yeah.
uh, as a storyboard. But it just makes you wonder how many people went this route, man. And who just straight up disappeared. It's just like, but I love him going back in time and kind of picking his spots with these stories because I think he's got a real talent for it.
Yeah, for sure. So it's kind of interesting. Like I said, the elevator pitch on this was that it was like the Donner Party meets the Gold Rush. And
Hmm.
if I were to give my explanation, if I were to elevator pitch this, I would say it's really The Shining meets the gold rush. That's how I took this, because I feel like so many of the tropes or so many of the ideas that are explored within The Shining by Stephen King are the same kind of things that we get to
That's
explore
a great
here,
call.
albeit much smaller sample size, right? Because we're dealing with the idea of a prideful father who is making decisions partially for the betterment of his family, right? He wants to do right by them, but more importantly, he wants to do right by himself. He wants to like know that he's doing good, and right, he's the one that's in the driver's seat making these decisions. At the same time, it also alludes to the fact that he's had alcohol problems in the past. He's been, he's been a drinker, and some of these decisions that he makes comes by way of his drinking. We definitely start to see that in a big bad way in the latter half of the issue, where he goes out, basically he kicks over their chicken coop that's in, in their stuff here. The chickens fly away. They have no means to get eggs, to use the chickens for, meals, to kind of slaughter them and use them. So he has to go out hunting, and on his hunting expedition, he starts talking to a hunter that's out there that's maybe giving him advice like, no, stay on the path you're on. I know you lost your map, but you'll find your way. Don't worry. You're remember your place in this family. He keeps doing this. Bad decision leads to bad decision, leads to bad decision, which ultimately leads to him taking the same actions that Jack Torrance did on that, fated evening at the Outlook Hotel, albeit this was in the mountainous region here on a cold winter night, where he brutally murders and eats his wife and then goes after his daughter. Once things really kicked into high gear, how did you feel about the direction of this issue? And did you kind of expect it to take the turns and the directions that it was?
Like a little bit. There was a good little bit of foreshadowing, but yeah, it was it was badass. Like I love him hallucinating the guide, and I love how Condon framed it with that story of that guy who got shipwrecked or lost at sea and thought he was shipwrecked with this Danish guy, and this guy showed him how to survive, and they ended up finding a ship, and he swam out to it, and he told the Dane he was going to come back for him, and they come back to the island, and he can't find this guy, and he like, was
Yeah.
he a figment of his imagination the whole time? So yeah, it was really crazy how this kind of developed. And watching this guy slowly unravel and snap was wild. So, yeah, man, great call on The Shining. Yeah, perfect reference for this. I think that's totally the way this story is structured in a sense, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's not even to speak to the other aspects of this issue too, which were the people of the land at this time are the ones that actually end up, saving the daughter. There's so many different parallels that you could draw towards this. At the end of the day, it does leave it open to interpretation. Do you think that these were hallucinations? Do you think these were spirits? How do you take
Well,
it as
see, my favorite bit or my favorite spirit or whatever it was that ghost Native American figure who ended up killing him. But I love that the way that story kind of came full circle when he's like, "If you're
yes.
gonna kill me now," and he just starts laughing at him and
Hmm.
rides off. So like he knew he was kind of, and then I don't want to ruin the story, but in retrospect, it kind of, that moment carries weight at the end of the story because
Big
it's
time.
like he knew something that he did, man. I thought that was a really clever way to pull that together. But yeah, I just love the bit of cold harsh reality mixed with the mythos. Like, that to me is, like I said, like that to me is the American West, is a little bit of the real and a little bit of the tall tale. But yeah, man, it was a fantastic story. Is this gonna be just just a one and done? This was it?
That's it. What you've gotten is the story told in its fullest form.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
yeah, it was fantastic. So, dude, your
yeah.
boy, how you feeling about your boy right now? He's balling out.
Dude, Chris Condon is kind of where it's at, man. Ultimate
Yeah.
Wolverine has been slapping, in my personal opinion. I really enjoyed this issue. Green Arrow, one of the best superhero books on stands right now. Yeah, dude. And I've been seeing that him and Jacob Jacob Phillips are working on a couple different things here. One of those things is absolutely the next installment of that Texas Blood too. So
I need it. I need that.
I
need
know.
it ASAP. My God,
Yep,
man.
exactly.
I gotta implore anybody who hasn't gone, just go read that. What is it? The Red Queen Killer? Is that? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, the Red Queen
Guys,
Killer, because it was all about
go
the
read that.
Alice in
Go
Wonderland.
read that. Yeah, go read that arc. Some of the most like suspenseful, thrilling comics I've read in quite a bit. Oh man, that snowstorm, those issues in the snowstorm, man. I still think about such a beautifully paced and written story, and the illustrations, of course. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Dude.
I'll stop gushing. Sorry, but I love that book so much.
Oh yeah, we need Joe Bob back in our lives for sure.
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh, we got Derek Neiman here. Unsavory Activities is my middle name. I wanted to,
Amen,
I
bro.
could say good old fashioned cannibalism, but I wanted to give us a little bit of class around here, as you do exactly with since it's your middle name. Let's see here. We got Simpleton saying the goddamn tragedy. Is that the first time E ever said Sean's name out loud? It in fact was maybe the second, because I had to say it during my review of the issue, and I probably mispronounced it there too. He drew the backstory in Fish Flies. Now I got to admit on stream that I didn't read Fish Flies, so way to go, Simpleton. Now if Jeff Lemire is watching, he's not a fan of mine anymore.
You're still reading Phantom Road, so I feel like that makes up for it.
That's right, Jeff. Are you listening?
It's all things are a balance, right?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like I'm just putting like creators on notice, man. The other week you were pitting me against Matt Fraction. Now Simpleton's out here trying to like make me come to blows with Jeff Lemire. I don't understand this. I think I'm a really nice person. I think I am.
Yeah, well, read the books, man. Jeez.
I know, right? Apparently 15 issues a week isn't enough. Okay, I'm sorry.
I fell off. To be fair, I fell off with Fish Flies too. I'm over here talking all this shit. I didn't even read it. Somebody was recommending JSA. I want to read that one once it's all said and done. So
maybe I'll circle back around to it. The backlog is ever growing, so it'll have its time in the sun for sure. Simpleton saying Oni has a few more one shots coming. Is this in reference to the goddamn tragedy? If so, let us know here. Different creative. Oh, interesting. Okay, if it is, yeah, definitely let us know. Different creative teams on it. First one was that Horvath book, Free for All. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So not necessarily
going to be like,
not a continuation.
Not in thematic like continuity or anything. Just random awesome one shots. That Free for All was like a reprint, right? Like he had put that book out before, or
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think he had like kickstarted it or one of those like crowdfunding things, and he did it that way. So though, thinking about it that way, how cool would like a hardcover be? Kind of like collecting all of those one shots that Oni does, and kind of like having a really nice hardbound version of that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Just throwing that out in the ether, for anyone that would be interested in doing such a thing. Moving on to our next issue, though. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about We're Taking Everyone Down With Us, the longest title for any comic book ever, issue number 3, written by Matthew Rosenberg with artwork by Stefano Landini, colors by Jason Wordie, with letters by the one, the only, Hassan Otsman El How. Stu, you want to talk about this one, man? You want to take the reins?
I do, but I feel like I'm the wrong person to, because I don't know if I enjoyed this issue as much as the rest of you did. I do think this series is solid, but yeah, man, this one was good.
I'm taking the reins. I'm taking the reins. No, your reins have been taken away. We're talking about all the positives of this issue. We had no time for negativity.
You're making me sound like I hated it. I was like, I don't know if it was tippy top of the month for me, but I did enjoy it. Let's discuss. Go ahead.
All right, let's discuss here. So, the ending of the the first issue and the second issue kind of sets the stage for everything that's happening here. this organization of supervillains or criminals, however you look at them, has doled out their brand of justice with one of their own that's maybe gone astray and kind of started doing his own little dirty business. He has also raised a daughter amongst this island where he's doing all of these scientific experimentations, creating all these like different robotic beings basically to do his bidding. During the attack, he dies, maybe, presumably, right, is what you're led to believe here. But as you can see, his consciousness is kind of uploaded to one of these robotic beings here. Unbeknownst of all this happening here, as his daughter was on the island as well, though, is that this is all happening in the background. All she knows is that some supervillain jerks have killed her only family, regardless of her feelings towards her father, and now she's out to dole out justice. And that's kind of awesome to me as like the premise of this issue. They get captured by the person that's kind of like instigated all these things here, our fondue hating member of the criminal cabal, and she is like a take no shit character, and that's the best part about her. She has a comeback for every single thing that's said towards her. Anytime that she has an avenue where she can do something, where she could try to escape, or more appropriately cause damage or hurt one of these people, she's always taking it. For instance, if you look at the panels on the right hand side here, the guy he's monologuing and he's pacing back and forth, and while he's doing that, she goes to reach for the gun while the robot basically pulls her back and kind of gives like a no, don't do that. And he turns around, he's like, did you just try to murder me? Like, and of course she did, because that's that's exactly her style and thing that she would do. More importantly, though, the dialogue in this book, in all three of these issues, has popped so hard for me. It's felt so real, so right, so natural, but not. Sometimes books have a way of doing natural sounding dialogue to the detriment of itself, where people get cut off and things get choppy and it gets really hard to follow. Bendis did a really great job at kind of introducing, we have Bendis speak, right? It's a thing. And as Bendis's career went on further and further, I feel like the reins on that natural dialogue kind of like were let go a little bit, and it became really hard to follow and really like not as fun as maybe it used to be. This is fun. This is absolutely fun dialogue, and that's, I feel like, the heartbeat of the series as of yet. Now go ahead and rain on my parade here. Why did you hate this issue, and why do you dislike Matthew Rosenberg as much as you do?
I like this issue. I thought it was solid. I mean, yes, and I agree with what you said about the dialogue. The dialogue is fire. It is super fresh, and the rapport between these two, the back and forth, is hilarious. I love the look of the robots in this, or the robot, I guess, at this point. But the artwork's been awesome, and the whole like secret cabal of I guess evil folks, evil geniuses type of thing has been super dope. The Veil secret society type of thing, trying to figure out what was the big hook for you in this one? You guys were talking about like the big hook. This is the one that really drew you in. I didn't have that moment to me. This was, don't get me wrong, I don't mean that in this has been a really solid book. But I don't know. Sometimes Rosenberg has a way of like, thinking you're going one way and then veering in a whole other way, and then you're off on that tangent. Like, I'm just thinking about Furthest Place from Here. You know what I mean? Like sometimes he meanders. So but
the premise of that book was The Furthest Place from Here. I still don't know what it is, and I don't know if he knows what it is.
Exactly. But it started off so cool and engaging, and they had those big oversized issues at first. I was all in, but then it just I don't know where we went. But yeah, I don't know. I just didn't see, like, I didn't have that one moment where I was like hook, line, and sinker in this one. But yeah, I definitely think she was a robot, by the way. What's up with her super? She knows how to kill dudes. She knows, all this information about the weapons, etc., etc.
I'm glad that you bring that up because you asked what was that thing, that hook that I spoke about. So this book very early on let you into the idea that these robots were on the island, and that's, like the father figure dies very early on, and beyond a shadow of a doubt, oh well, like the dude is the robot. His consciousness is definitely uploaded in there. But in this issue, we get the most character development from the daughter. We
Yeah,
get the most development from their relationship because there's kind of like the inkling that she's picking up on things about her being, or I'm sorry, about him maybe being more fatherly than just the robots generally are. So she's picking up on things. She's questioning her own nature, where she's like, why don't you tell me why I know how many bullets this has, and like that it's going to fire at this rate, and that this, that,
yeah,
and the other. So it's asking questions, but it's also in that same way, it's giving you answers. It's giving you reasons to want to come back. And on top of that, the reason that I would maybe push back against your idea is that one of these people, the criminal organization, she sees one of them on camera, and the person sees her on camera and like calls out to her by name. She's like, Annabelle, is that you? You know? And then the camera goes dark because the robot turns it off. It seems to me like the implication is probably that that's the mother character
yeah.
of
It's
the.
mom. That's definitely mom.
Exactly, exactly. So, and that could be a mother, that could be a natural mother, that could be a mother of creation. Maybe they helped create her and she is a robot. Who knows? There's a lot of different things that, a lot of different ways that you can look at that, and a lot of different ways that Matthew Rosenberg can take this story moving forward. But again, that's kind of the hook. You've given me all the fun stuff. Now you've given me the reason that I need to come back for more. So that's the reason for me.
Okay. Oh yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah. And on top of that, we get these awesome pages where in the background she's just beating the hell out of this fondue
Yeah.
loving guy as the criminal organization just watches on, and they're just like they have no inkling about like trying to help or save him. They're just like, this is a waste of my time. I need to leave now.
Yeah, I like that one panel where she's just like stomping on dude's head like repeatedly. She's
Exactly.
she's
It's like
flying off the hammer.
it doesn't take itself too seriously, but in that same vein, it doesn't stray away from like the big bombastic nature of the book that it's trying to be here with, that Mission Impossible 007 kind of aspect to it. So it's like it's walking this razor's edge like so like precisely. It's just I don't know. It's just doing it for me.
Yeah, it was wild too when he let all that gas go, and then like brought her back
Mhm.
to life basically. Like that was it's so cool. I like all those little random surprises they give us in terms of like
Yeah.
what these machines can do. So
Exactly. And there was like there was at least 3 or 4 instances in this issue that I could have used for our little thing segment as well. Like I love the panel where the robot just kind of is walking up to the in between section of the train cars and just subtly taps his foot against like the track, and he's like bye bye. It's
yeah,
like yeah,
it's
I don't
awesome.
know. Lot of cool things that I really dig about this. So okay, so give the differing opinion though, right? I'm gushing over this book here. What is it that you wish you got out of this book? Maybe that's not being delivered right now.
I don't know if it's anything like I wish I got it. It's just I don't know if it's striking me as a book that's, maybe in my wheelhouse per se. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Okay.
Sometimes his stories really, really affect me and really connect with me. This one just hasn't, but I don't know. At the same time, I think it's definitely interesting. I definitely want to see where it goes. I think though, you know, I could definitely fall off here in the next couple issues. We'll see what happens though. It just hasn't grabbed me yet. For whatever reason. I can't really put my finger on it, but
Okay.
yeah,
Fair enough, right? I mean, yeah, horses for courses. There's some brilliant books out there where I'm just kind of like, it's fine.
yeah,
It's okay.
yeah.
All right. Let's move on to our covers of the week here. I'm gonna go ahead and kick things off, starting with the Sean Crystal variant of Absolute Martian Manhunter. I'm a huge fan of Sean Crystal and everything that the Ink Pulp people do with the podcast and his art style as well. One of their live streams, we got to see this cover being created, and he was like really talking through the process about the color theory, what color should be used on this, what was really going to make the foreground, pop along with the centerpiece as well, and what was going to be true to the colors that are being used within the book that is Absolute Martian Manhunter. So I definitely dug this. Also, if you're a big fan like I am, or if you just dig this cover and you had no idea who Sean Crystal is, make sure to check out the Kickstarter right now for Ink Pulp Cyan. It's his new sketchbook that he's putting out here. Good looking hardcover book that's going to be coming out. Goes through the entire process of his artistic styling. He used to be a art teacher as well, so the dude knows what he's talking about, on top of the fact that he has a really unique style. So definitely check that out. I got the Ben Oliver variant for Batman here. Great composition. Ben Oliver's approach on here looks awesome. You remember when they were doing the giant size one shots during the Krakoan era of X-Men? They call it kind of all centered around Storm, the virus that Storm had.
I do not remember those.
Ah, bummer. Okay, well, one of those one shots, there was like a Storm, a Phantom X, a Magneto one, and that Magneto one was originally solicited to have Ben Oliver do the artwork, and for one reason or another, they had to switch out the artist on it. And I so wish that we would have gotten whatever the original iteration of that was going to be, because I really like the dude's artwork style, but I mostly see it on covers, and we need some interior artwork. That would be really cool to see. Next up, we got our boy that we were just talking about recently here, Daredevil Cold Day in Hell, by none other than the person that we were talking about over and over and over, the artistic stylings that McNiven is definitely emulating here. It's going to be Uncle Frank's iteration of the one and only Daredevil, so I had to spotlight that one. Speaking of giant size X-Men, this is a slight different version than the one I was talking about. This is the newest version where they're bringing good old Kamala back to the earliest days of X-Men here, but I had to spotlight this incredible Storm cover here. Really cool stuff here. The electricity crackling from her fingertips. And last but not least, the one and only Dan Panosian here, gracing us with his written comic book that he's doing the cover for, The Last Boys, a retelling of the Peter Pan story here. So wanted to spotlight that one. But that's my covers of the week here, man. What do you got?
Oh man, Dan Mora on cover A for Superman, just fantastic. I love him, erupting here with this energy. It's just it looks great. Love the color choices with the red and the white. Yeah, I love that one. Dan's killing it, dude. Over at DC. Next up, Ian Bertram. Of course, he had Martian Manhunter. Almost went with that variant, but dude, I saw this.
Oh yeah.
This Bitterroot one, had to throw it up, giving me Precious Metal vibes. So shout out Ian. Of course, go check out our conversation with him over on Nick's channel, Comic Culture. We had a few weeks back for his Kickstarter, which is should be on the way. Not too terribly long, so can't wait to see that. But yeah, man, one of the best artists in the game these days. So had to show love to Ian. After that, dude, I had to do Daredevil Cold Day in Hell cover as well. Gabriel Del Otto freaking murdered this one.
It is,
crazy. Yeah, this was fantastic. Uncle Frank's was up there too. I definitely would have posted that if you hadn't. But yeah, Gabriel killed this, dude, as he does usually. Guy is just such an immensely talented artist. Always brings something epic to his compositions, and this one was no different. I love the lighting and both the lighting from underneath him, and then like that little bit of white light coming down on top. It's so beautiful, man. Such an amazing cover.
I was about to say that the juxtaposition between the cool and dark tone, or I'm sorry, the cool and warm tones of the cover here really makes it pop.
It's haunting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, dude, I had to go with Batman cover as well, but my boy Frank Quietly just.
Oh, that's Quietly? Wow.
Yeah, dude. Beautiful, clean line work. I love his Hush. But yeah, it's always good to see. I knew I threw him up here last week with the Superman cover. It's just great to see Frank doing work. I'd love to see him back on Interior for something because he's just. I think the most we've got out of him recently with Interiors was that Mark Millar issue he did of.
Oh yeah.
What was that superhero book that he had rotating artists on?
Ambassadors, right? Am I
Ambassadors,
mistaken there?
No, you got
Okay.
it. But yeah, man. It's been a minute, but yeah, I don't know. It was just it's just his drawing is just so clean. I love it, and I love his texture. So I had to throw that one up there.
Yeah,
And
for
then last
sure.
but not least, Panosian time, baby. Shout out to you for the alley oop. But yeah, dude, the Martian Manhunter variant, just exquisite, gorgeous. I saw our boy Simpleton pick this one up. Can't go wrong with Dan the Man. So another week, another Dan Panosian banger. Can't wait to see him with Heroes. Yes, sir.
Heck yeah, dude. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be so fun.
You can't wait.
Oh man. All right. That that does it for our covers of the week here. Before we jump into comics of futures past, though, I wanted to say what up to Sleepy Reader who
Hey,
joined us. Sleepy, always good seeing you.
what's up, brother?
Dude,
Hope
I
you're
wish you would
well.
have been here for when we were talking about our Russian comic books. You're an encyclopedic knowledge of comic books, and I would really love to know what you know about Octoberiana that we totally missed here. So if you're still hanging with us here and you know something here, feel free to drop it in the chat because yeah, I'm interested. I want to know. But in the meantime, here, let's talk about comics of futures past here, comics that released this very same day, sometime in the past here. And we're going to talk about Secret Invasion #3, which released on June 4th, 2008. Secret Invasion was the newest event that I feel like made me appreciate events again, if that makes sense. I feel like we have a lot of event fatigue nowadays, but I feel like at this time and age in the early 2000s, they were really, really doing events the right way, in a big bad way that had actual ramifications within the greater universe. And we know that, things don't last forever and like big sweeping changes end up reverting back to normalcy. But I feel like the way that they structured everything at this time really did a great way of taking one event that led into the next, that led into the next, that really, I don't know, really gave the universe a really nice feeling of relevancy. And it made things like really impactful. Speaking of which, the impact that we see in this is that we know that the scrolls haven't basically invaded Earth. They are wrecking things in New York City here. They're taking out all of the greater superheroes. All the while, there is another subset of superheroes that are investigating things in the Savage Land. One of those people being Jessica Drew, the Spider Woman. Another one of those individuals being Iron Man, who has been basically all of his technology has already been taken over by the scrolls. They have infiltrated all of his, the best versions of his technology. So he is scrapped down to basically not his original suit, but like the original, gold and red suit that he had. And it's revealed that Jessica Drew is actually the Scroll Queen. She has infiltrated them. She's been working her machinations in the background for years. She dispenses with Echo, who basically finds things out before anyone else does. Sets her aside here, does that business, then starts having a conversation with Tony Stark and talking to him in a very interesting way where she's like, you can let down your garb. You don't have to worry. It's just me, your queen. Now you can tell us, you could be yourself amongst us, letting us know that maybe Tony Stark himself doesn't even understand that he could be a Skrull that's been working for the Skrulls invading this entire time. I obviously it's an older comic book, 2008, but I don't want to give any spoilers away. This was an awesome, revealing, excellent executed issue here by Brian Michael Bendis with fantastic artwork through and through by Leon Francis Yu. This was a heck of a time here that again made me appreciate the best way that events can work within the greater universe of comic books. What's your background with Secret Invasion, man? Did you read this? Did you dig it?
Oh yeah, read it, loved it. Yeah, dude, I just loved you know, um, this period of Marvel. But yeah, this was fantastic. You didn't know who to trust, you know. You didn't know who was who or what was what,
Yeah.
who was a good guy or who wasn't. And it was, you know, it was brilliantly done. How it was. I remember the Savage Land, right? They had those two groups of Avengers, and one got off like, you know,
Hmm.
I think they one landed and said they had been prisoners of the skulls or something like that, and we were trying to figure out who to trust,
They
and
were facing
it was,
off.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude, it was fantastic. I remember so many moments, but yeah, I remember Tony being completely incapacitated. But yeah, this was Bendis's infatuation with Jessica Drew was on full display here. She got all the love in
Yes.
this,
And
and this.
well, I mean, was it love really? Because I mean, I guess you hurt the ones that you love the most. Maybe that's what it is.
I think,
Because
yeah,
yeah,
he
she
just
got put
wanted
through the
to
ringer.
show, yeah, for sure. I just wanted to, he just wanted to, I think, elevate her, rightfully so. So,
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. The other cool thing about this entire event is that after everything was revealed and you knew who the Skrull infiltrators were, if you went back through like a year's worth of comics that happened before the event kicked off, there were so many subtle clues that were playing out in the backgrounds of panels and pages and storylines where you're like, "Oh my god, it was right in front of us this entire time." And nobody, I mean, I can't say nobody. If you picked up on it, kudos to you, man. You were on top of the game way more than I was, but it definitely made me go back through those back issues and start looking at stuff going, "Oh, I can't believe that Hank Pym was right there listening in on the story that they were telling, which set up this event and that event." And like, it was just insane. It was pure insanity in the best possible way. So I figured it was only best to spotlight Secret Invasion #3 for this
yeah.
week's Comics of Futures Past.
And also, what is it? What was it? Lionel Francis Yu like
Hmm.
killed the artwork on this, both the covers and the interiors, if I recall correctly. So shout
Yeah,
out to them. Yeah.
yeah. It might be my favorite comic that he's ever drawn, right? Or series that he's ever drawn. He's done some great work on like like Wolverine and things like that. But I think that some of the scenes in this were like just epic, just
Yeah,
absolute
there's a
insanity.
couple iconic covers. The one big like scroll face profile cover, and
Hmm.
then the I love that one of like the two Wolverines fighting each other.
Hmm.
It's
What
yeah,
and you had like the homage to the new Avengers where it's like red with the lightning striking in the
hmm,
background, but in this case it was the scroll silhouettes as opposed to the Avengers. So yeah, there's so many cool things that they did with with honoring everything that was happening in the Brian Michael Bendis time at Marvel, for lack of a better
yeah,
term.
yep, definitely
Yeah,
was.
good stuff here. All right. That brings us to the comics that released right here, right now, today at your LCS. Stu, talk to me, man. What are you excited about here? What are you going to be picking up?
Oh man, um, hold on one second. I'm trying to pull League up here. Um, all right, guys, definitely Imperial is going to be up there at the top. Definitely curious to see. Also, I had a friend of mine say good things about it, so I wonder who that guy was. Um, but yeah, definitely curious to figure that to you know figure out if I enjoy that one or not. Storm definitely gonna keep reading. I've been loving that series. Um, Moon is following us. We're kind of you know hitting our crescendo there. That's been a wonderful series. The World to Come. I'm just excited to see some Joe Quesada artwork. And curious to see
Yes.
what that story is about. Christopher Priest, who I also love, is writing that one. Let's see what else, man. Um, no, oh hell yeah, we got Kaya back, number 27. That's a no-brainer. One of the best books on stands. Plague House #3. I need to catch up. Have you read #2? Are you still all on
No,
board with that?
my shop hasn't gotten issues 2 or 3, so I fell off on that
Okay.
one. But yeah, I'm in the same boat though. I want to catch back up.
And then Monkey Meat #4 is coming out, so I need to catch up on that as well, man, because that was I was really enjoying that through the first couple. Um,
Well, there
what
goes your
else am
vegan
I?
diet.
Yeah, what else am I? How about you? What are you looking forward to? No, I'm
Outside of
missing
what we got
something.
spotlighted here, like the one Joe Quesada artwork, I'm always going to be an advocate for
Yeah.
that. I'm a big bad fan of it. So like him doing interiors, like the world to come, has definitely piqued my interest. Outside of what we're seeing here, though, Captain Planet and the Planeteers, dude. David Pepose, I think,
Oh, hell yeah.
did a really good job on issue number 1, pulling on that nostalgia, but also elevating it a little bit more, making it a little bit more mature, maybe. There's inklings of that possibility that I
Oh
thought were
yeah.
really cool. Um, Immortal Thor. Immortal Thor has been it's hit some high highs, it's hit some
Holy
low
hell, are you still
lows.
reading that book?
I'm still
That's
reading.
shout out
Well,
to you.
this is the final issue. This is what's culminating in what they're saying is the death of a god here. So it looks like Thor's
Dude,
probably not.
you have all those Ross covers? Or
Oh
have you
heck
been
yeah.
collect? Oh
Oh
hell
yeah.
yeah, dude.
Oh yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
we're gonna see what happens to our boy here, the King of Asgard. It's not looking too good for him though. Poison Ivy number 34 comes out. Dude,
Yes.
talk about just a good book that's like run the gamut here. 34 issues for, let's be honest, a B level character. It shows what an
Mhm.
A tier creative team can do with a B level character. It's not about the
Amen, brother.
character, it's about the creative team. Follow those teams. Poison Ivy is definitely an indicator of such things. Don't let the slides fool you here. Like we talked about from the jump here, Resurrection Man. I wish I could say that it came out. It was not in multiple shops here. It looks like the physical copy may have been delayed, but maybe the digital copy wasn't. So
Mhm.
if you're, if you could double dip, knock your socks off, man, because I'm going to if it's out there digitally. If not, though, I'll have to be patient. I'm not good at that. Um, Other than that, Ultimate Wolverine. We talked about Chris Condon.
Yeah.
He's killing it, dude. It's like everything. If you feel like you're not getting what you wanted from an X-Men book in the Ultimate Universe from Peach Momoko's Ultimate X-Men, do yourself a favor and read Ultimate Wolverine because you're gonna get those feelings. It's pretty good. It's pretty freaking good here. Also, artistic change on there. We have Alex Linz on the artwork, but don't let that sway you away. The art is still super fire.
So what's up with this Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion book that's coming out? You know anything about that?
It's Miles Morales' reintroduction to the Ultimate Universe. He going back home. He's going to his
Okay.
birthplace.
Okay. Oh yeah, Dennis
Yeah.
Camp
The
rating that
cool
with
thing about that is,
no, go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was just saying
I was
Dennis
just gonna
Camp.
say
Yeah, Cody Ziegler co-writing that. Sorry.
no, it's all good. Yeah, and I was going to say the cool thing about that is that I was just gushing over Brian Michael Bendis' time at Marvel, and he did a really cool couple stories. Spider-Man, Peter Parker of the 616 going into the universe where Miles Morales was Spider-Man, the Ultimate Universe at that time, and they got to buddy up and they got to pair up and Pete kind of showed him the way a little bit since the Pete from the Ultimate Universe had passed away. I feel like we're probably going to get a little bit of an inverse of that. Now, Miles is a matured Spider-Man. We have an older Peter Parker that hasn't been Spider-Man all that much. So I think that could be a cool
Oh yeah,
inversion of that idea.
love it.
Yeah, so that could be pretty cool here. Other than that, though, let's talk about what we got going on here. Stu, why don't you go ahead and kick us off?
Dude, patreon.com/Ink and Insights, where you can find previews of our upcoming shows here on Ink and Insights every Wednesday. But also other new content we got going on. Yeah, and of course our newsletter, which we have 2 issues out now, featuring creative interviews with the likes of Mark Russell in this current edition, but also we got Studio Space featuring Jeremy Heiler's studio and his creative essentials. Got a great in continuity strip done by yours truly right here, illustrated by our boy E, featuring the first appearance of the Council of Stews. Watch out for Cyborg Spider Stew. Dude is not to be messed with. But yeah, man, it's home base for myself, 9 Panel Grid, and Nick Comic Culture for everything we're trying to do together. So make sure you're subscribed. It's free, and it's a great way to stay on top of everything we got coming out.
Heck yeah. All right, talk to us about the triumphant return
That's right. Surrounded by short boxes. Returned this morning. Hawkeye #3. It's a spotlight on my favorite back issues of the collection. What I love about him so much. Hawkeye #3 went under the microscope. Matt Fraction, David Aha. The Trick Arrow car chase classic issue. Yeah, come hang out with me and as I geek out about this incredible book and Aha's incredible artwork. But yeah, it feels good to be back with pre-recorded content for y'all. I definitely miss making it. So it's tedious, but like E and I agreed on, we're gluttons for punishment in that sense. You know what I mean? But I really enjoy. I enjoy writing scripts and doing the research and revisiting these books most of all. Man, learning new things. So yeah, come learn something new and share this love for these incredible books with me.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and then Cujo was today on Vern's channel over on Blood Splatter Chatter. I grew up with a Saint Bernard as a childhood dog, so yeah, this movie was always big in my I guess cultural zeitgeist growing up. But dude, today I learned that Vern has been attacked by a dog on 4 separate occasions. And listen to this, like it's been a Doberman, there's been a Rottweiler, there's been a pit bull. Like this dude has had the worst of the worst come out. I thought that was pretty crazy.
I mean, it's only fair though, considering he held a certain profession, and I won't like totally dox him or anything, but like, I mean, let's be honest, being attacked by a dog maybe possibly had something to do with that. It's just par for the course.
He's got some crazy stories for sure.
Yeah. As for me, though, 9-panel grid, make sure you catch my weekly comic book review show on the pull list that drops every single Sunday morning, going over all the comics that we discussed here, plus a whole lot more. So check out my thoughts over there. Every single Tuesday morning here, check out my new show, The Cover Story, which goes over a week's worth of comic book related news items, along with the comic books I'll be picking up to review and all the cool variants, hardcovers, and trade paperbacks that are coming out so that you can prepare yourself for hitting up that LCS if you are a Wednesday warrior just like me and Stu over here. Other than that, every single Wednesday, just like today here, Ink and Insights, ping pong in between, Dr. Doom's Fan Club and 9-panel grid here for a good time with one of my best buddies here, Stu. So it's always a pleasure hanging out with you, talking comics, man.
Likewise, bro. Love our Wednesdays, man. Can't wait for Heroes. Yeah. Happy Heroes Month, bro.
Yes, exactly. We're so close here. We've said it before. We're gonna say it again. If you're going to Heroes, if you see us here, definitely shout us out, man. We want to talk to you. We want to hang out with you here. We want to spend time with everyone here. So we're looking forward to that just as much as the comics themselves here. So that'll do it for us, though. For everyone that's in the chat, thank you so much for hanging with us. For everyone that's catching us on the rewind, thank you as much as well. Make sure you drop a comment here. Let us know what comic book got you into comic book collecting here. But other than that, we will see you next week.
Thanks, Shale.